afternoon everyone, welcome to us here at the National Aquarium. Now as we are close to the public, we thought we would show you something really cool, and we will show you what we do with our green sea turtle Friday. Now every Wednesday we give him a bit of a treat and we enrich him, so we make sure that he's not bored and we give him lots of games to play. We're here with Emma, who's one of our senior biologists today, and she's going to be feeding Friday and giving him a bit of a scrub and a tickle as well. Now lucky for you guys, Friday is actually right up here at the top of the tank with us today, at the top of our Atlantic Ocean tank. Now this tank here is the biggest tank here in the UK. It goes down for about 10.5 metres, it's across for about 25, and it goes to the other side there for about 15 metres, so it's really big. Now Friday is a green sea turtle. He's about 40 years old and he weighs nearly 20 stone, so he is incredibly big. Today we're going to be giving him this. This is his lettuce enrichment turner. So all we've done is we've recycled a water bottle that we get here in the aquarium, we've cut some holes in it, and then we've stuck some lettuce leaves in there for Friday. So when Emma puts this in, I'll put it to Emma now, Friday will come over and use his face to knock the lettuce leaves over and also get his afternoon snack. Here he comes. And there he goes, starting to nibble away at his lunch. Now Friday, as a green sea turtle, is a vegetarian, so he only eats vegetables here in the aquarium, and we get all of our vegetables from Plymouth, and it costs around £25 a week to feed him. So he's quite easy to look after and he likes to eat lots and lots of different things. So thank you to anyone that has donated so far to us here at the aquarium, because it does mean that we are actually able to look after animals like Friday and our sharks, so that we are able to care for them and make sure they're all really well fed. You can see Friday there turning that lettuce turner, taking all of the food out of it. Now, whilst we are live, please do put any questions that you've got for us in the comments, and we'll try our best to answer as many as that we can. If you've got any questions about the turtles or maybe some of the other animals here in the aquarium that we've got, like our sharks. So we've had a question from Rory and Alvy, and it's how thick a turtle shell is. Now I actually do have a turtle shell here that I can show you. This is from green sea turtle as well. It's not quite as big as Friday, it is a big feet. But you can see here, they're not actually very thick at all. And they're made of the same material your fingernails and your hair is made of. It's a material called keratin. So this is like having a big protective nail on your back if you're careful. So it's not very thick, but it does protect him really well. Now when Friday was first born, he would have been hatched from an egg about the size of a ping pong ball in a little nest, and then he would have scurried down the beach to the ocean and lived his first 5 or 6 years of life in the deeper parts of the ocean. Then as baby sea turtles grow up into adults, they will eat things like jellyfish and fish eggs, anything that they can find really. And as they grow bigger and bigger, they start growing less quickly, and they start eating things like seagrass. Now seagrass is an amazing habitat, and they are really good. They are the gardeners of the ocean because they'll nibble at the top of the seagrass blades, and it encourages the seagrass to grow outwards rather than upwards, which is really good because seagrass is such an amazing habitat. We've had a question about why Friday is called Friday. Now Friday is actually from an aquarium in Bournemouth. He's from Bournemouth Oceanarium, and they named him Friday because he has a sister in Bournemouth called Crusoe. So they were named after a comic book series, I believe, called The Adventures of Friday and Crusoe. However, when he got to about 35, he was just simply too big to be in the tank that he was in Bournemouth. So as the biggest aquarium in the UK, we took him out and he's been with us for about 3 years now. He came here in the winter of beginning of 2017. So we just had a question, does Friday have a best friend? He does like lots and lots of things here in the aquariums, particularly in this tank, but his best friend is probably the biologists, because the biologists give him lots of food and also scrub his shell. Now the reason we're scrubbing his shell is because we need to make sure that he hasn't got things like algae growing on his back. It's not a bad thing, it wouldn't hurt him, but we want to make sure that he's nice and clean and presentable for when we have visitors here in the aquarium. So to any of you that are joining us, we're here at the National Marine Aquarium feeding our turtle Friday. Friday is our green sea turtle here in our Atlantic Ocean tank. We're giving him a little toy to play with. This is his lettuce feeder. So it's had lots of leaves of lettuce stuffed into it, and he's finished with it now. He's eaten it all. Thank you to so many of you that have already been able to donate to us as well here at the aquarium. Anything that you are able to give is really, really helpful to us here in the aquarium, because it means that we can keep on looking after our animals like Friday, as well as our big sharks and all other 4,000 animals that we've got here in the aquarium. If you aren't able to Hi, sorry about that glitch. I think so many of you are joining us here at the top of the tank that we had a bit of a problem with our internet connection. But don't worry, Friday is still here. Still getting scrubbed and still having a bit of his lunch. Now what I was saying just before was, if you are able to share our Facebook pages, give us a like, and sharing any of the events that we're doing every Wednesday, then please do, because it's so helpful to us to be able to work really hard to care for animals and make sure that we're spreading our love of the lovely ocean as far as we can. Now if you're rejoining us, Friday is still getting his scrub treatment. He's getting a nice scrub, and that's just to clean all the algae that might be growing on his back. Now Friday is a male green sea turtle. Now in green sea turtles, it's really easy to tell the difference between a male and a female. So Friday has got quite a long tail, and he's also got hooks on his front flippers. Now those hooks are what he'll use to help him breed, so it's a really nice, easy way to tell the difference. Now we've got Emma here. Emma is a senior biologist here at the aquarium. She's the one that is playing with Friday and giving him some lunch. Friday is a vegetarian, so we give him things like lettuces, peppers, cucumbers. At Halloween, we've got a video from when we fed him last Halloween, and he had a pumpkin with a turtle carved into it and lettuce stuffed inside of it. And then at Christmas we give him Brussels sprouts as well. So we do like to vary his diet as much as possible. Do keep your questions coming through as well, because we like to read them and see if we can answer them as much as possible. So we've had a question from Isabel, and she would like to know how old and how big he will grow to be. Friday is probably about the right size he's going to be now. He's probably not going to grow too much more. He's about 40, but green sea turtles can live to be about 100 years old. Now some green sea turtles can weigh up to 160 kilograms in the wild, which is about 22 to 23 stone. Friday is about 20, so he is the right sort of size that we need him to be as a green sea turtle. And Emma's just giving him some enrichment. We do this every single week just to make sure that he's nice and happy and he doesn't get bored in the tank. Now we do have all sorts of different toys that we use. So a bit earlier on, we use this lettuce feeder where we stuff lettuce leaves into it, and he's got to knock it to be able to get all the lettuce leaves out. But we do also have toys like this, so we can fill this with food. We can put things like broccoli and cauliflower into it, and he's again got to knock it. Oh, great question from Seb. So turtles don't actually breathe underwater. Even though they live in the sea, they have to breathe air just like you and I do. Now sea turtles generally dive for about 5 minutes. They'll stay under the water and then they'll come back up and get a nice big deep breath of air. But when they're fast asleep, they'll wedge themselves between a rock, and they can stay asleep for about 7 to 8 hours, just like we need, and they can hold their breath for that amount of time. So once Friday's first woken up, maybe in the morning or after his lunch, he'll come up and he'll take lots and lots of really big deep breaths, and then he'll go about what he needs to do. Friday likes to sleep. That's a great question, Grace and Alfie. In this tank here, we've actually got a sunken plane in here. It's a plane wreck, and he likes to wedge himself under the plane wing. So if you ever can't see him in the aquarium, do have a look at our plane, because he might be fast asleep underneath there. The markings on his shell make it really, really easy for him to be camouflaged right at the back of the tank as well. But he's very, very cute. So in the wild, green sea turtles, when they're adults, will eat things like seagrass. It's a really, really good habitat for many of these animals to live in. And it's a really good source of food. They're called the gardens of the ocean because they'll nibble at the top of the seagrass blades and encourage it to grow outwards. But when they're babies, they eat lots and lots of different things. It's very splashy today. They'll eat lots of different things, from jellyfish to things like fish eggs as well. So thank you so much to anyone that's been able to donate so far. Please do keep donating to us if you are able to. Anything you can give is really, really helpful. The food that we give Friday is £25 a week. So if you're able to give something like that, that's really helpful and we'll be able to care for our animals. But if you can't give anything, then just sharing our Facebook page, giving it a like, watching these events is really, really important because it helps us give a voice to the ocean. So please do keep doing that. Now we had a question a bit earlier on about, is Friday a naughty turtle? Now if you visited the aquarium before and you've spoken to one of our ocean discovery rangers, or watched one of the shows that we've done, or maybe watched the divers whilst they've been in the tank with Friday, you might know that Friday is a bit of a naughty turtle. Friday's naughty for a couple of reasons. Firstly, he likes to steal food from the other animals. He's worked out where the other animals in this tank are fed. So he knows where he can go to steal food. Now some of the stingrays in this tank are very clumsy when they eat their food and they drop it. And he works out if he hides underneath where they're eating, they cause so much splashing that the biologists can't easily see him and he's able to nibble as much of their food as he wants to. Now when the divers go in, he gets really, really excited. He really likes seeing the divers. But because he is so big, sometimes he gets a bit overexcited. And Emma, what's it like diving with Friday?
We have to be alert at all times, just know exactly where he is and he's approaching you. And he has to know to bite the divers. When it's not so bad, it's on your fins or on your cylinder, or another few, or he's bit them on the bum, or even on their shoulder, or once in the head as well. So you've got to be really careful with Friday.
So Friday's just gone for a little swim in the middle of the tank, but he'll be coming back over. Do keep your questions coming in because we do like to read them and we'll try our best to try and answer them. Oh, that's a good question. So we had a question about what ocean green sea turtles are found in. Now green sea turtles are actually found in warmer parts of the ocean, so more tropical places. And there are actually different groups of green sea turtles that live in the Atlantic and the Pacific Ocean, but in the warmer areas like the Caribbean and places where there's coral reefs. They do generally prefer warm water, so that's why we don't find them here in the UK unless they've been stranded. But we do get one species of sea turtle here in the UK, and that's the leatherback turtle. They are the biggest type of sea turtle in the world, so they're much bigger than Friday, but instead of a shell, they've got lots and lots of layers of leathery skin, which is really, really cool. Oh, I got a question from Elizabeth. What's the best part about your job at the aquarium? We'll ask Emma first.
Yeah, so the diving is definitely the best part. I mean, you get to be much closer to the animals and just see it from a different perspective. So that's my favourite part of the job.
Yeah. My favourite part of my job is when we're open to the public and we're able to do our really, really big shows that we do here in the aquarium. But I love telling people about the different animals that we've got here as well. Whether it's an animal like Friday or something a bit smaller like a starfish. Anything that is interesting to someone, I love telling them about. So I can't wait to be reopened so we can tell you about all of our lovely animals. We've had a question, are you a marine biologist? And do you need to be one to work at an aquarium like this? Now Emma and I both did marine biology when we went to university, But we've got people here that didn't do marine biology as a degree. You don't have to be a marine biologist. All you need is lots and lots of passion, and you also just need to get lots and lots of experience where possible. So a lot of people here volunteered before, and got more experience that way. So to you, those of you that have just joined us, or have joined us after that little malfunction that we had a bit earlier on, we are just feeding and giving Friday, our green sea turtle, a bit of enrichment here at the top of our shark tank. Friday is a green sea turtle. He's 40 years old and he weighs about 20 stone. So green sea turtles can grow to be about 1.5 meters long, so the same kind of length as an average sized person. And the patterns that they've got on their shells vary from turtle to turtle. Their shells can be anything from the lightish green colour that we've got on Friday, which we'll be able to see a bit better when he comes back, to darker browns and a more olivey colour. So it really, really varies. They're called green sea turtles because they have green fat inside their bodies. I'm just liking the comments as well, saying that he's a very, very cute turtle, because he definitely is. He's very, very sweet. Here he is. So Emma's just giving him a bit of a scrub. It's just a really nice feeling for him, a bit like when you might pet your cat or dog at home, but it also helps to clean his shell and make sure that he's lovely and clean when he's swimming around in our tank. Thank you to those that have been donating to us throughout this talk. Please do continue donating if you're able to. It's really, really helpful to us to be able to care for our amazing animals here in the aquarium, and help supporting all these Facebook Lives that we're doing as well. But if you aren't able to donate, then please do just keep sharing our page, sharing our events, watching our events. It's really, really amazing. So we've had some questions about some of the other animals that we've actually got here in this tank. So this tank is our Atlantic Ocean exhibit. It's the biggest tank we've got here in the aquarium. It's also the biggest in the UK, which is really, really cool. So in here we've got a lemon shark called Citron. We might see him swim past as well. So whilst Friday is just circling round, we've actually got something really cool to show you. Now this is what the inside of a turtle shell would look like. So this is a green sea turtle shell, and they actually have a spine and a set of ribs on the inside of their shell. Now the question I get asked quite a lot about turtles when I'm here in the aquarium is, are turtles able to come out of their shells and grow a new one? Now green sea turtles always have their same shell with them. They continuously grow. It's a bit like our fingernails and our hair do. So you never lose their shell. They always have the same shell throughout their entire lives. And it's made of the same material your fingernails and hair is made of as well. It's very special today.
So Friday actually gets 3 feeds a day. So he gets a bigger feed in the morning at 11, which you might have seen when you joined us before. And then another lunchtime feed what we do is enrichment, and then another feed right at the end of the day. So we've got this tray here just to show out the different sections that we do.
So if you're joining us, thank you so much for joining us today. If you would like to draw any pictures of Friday, or you've got any pictures from when you visited us here at the aquarium before, then please do send them in to us. You can just send them to us on our Facebook page, and we really love seeing them. If you've been drawing any turtles, or maybe you might draw a picture of Friday after you've seen this video, then please do send them in to us, because we really, really love seeing them. So some people are asking why he is called Friday. He's called Friday because when he came to us from Bournemouth, he lived in a tank with another female green turtle called Crusoe. And there's a detective series, a comic book series called The Adventures of Friday and Crusoe. So that's why he's named that. We kept the name because it was a really good name. But he came here in 2017 after growing a little bit too big for his old tank. But he's very happy here. He's got all of his shark friends in the tank here. Oh, that's a great question. So we've had a question from Robert Sanderland School, and they've asked why turtles aren't stung by jellyfish. Now, turtles actually have lots and lots of, they look a bit like hairs in their tongue, in their throats, and that helps to prevent them being stung. They're able to swallow down the jellyfish, because they've got this special adaptation in their throat. It's a bit of a weird thing to look at though, so just be careful if you are looking that up. It looks a little bit odd, but that helps protect them from being stung by those jellyfish. So Emma is just giving him a bit of a scrub. We try and do this as much as possible, just to make sure that there's no algae growing on his shell. And he also likes it. It's a nice bonding moment for us. So some people are asking how old Friday's going to grow to be. He'll live to be about 100 years old, and he's about 40 now. So he's getting to be nearly halfway through his life. But he's pretty happy. He still eats lots and lots of food and steals lots of food from the other animals as well. If you missed it at the start of the video, at 1:30 we give him some enrichment. We try and do this every single day where we can, just to make sure that he's nice and entertained whilst he's here in the aquarium with us. Today we gave him this. This is a lettuce feeder, so he has to turn it and eat all the lettuce out of there, and you can see he did a pretty good job eating most of the lettuce today. But we do have other toys that he plays with as well, just depending on the day. Got things like this ball. This ball can actually be hooked onto a line that goes over the top of the tank and dragged across the top of the tank, and he's got to get his food out of it by knocking it. So you can put things like broccolis and peppers inside this ball. So it's just things that will keep him entertained whilst he's here with us. So we are going to wrap it up there. I think Friday is happy that he's eaten all of his lunch today. But we did just want to say thank you so much to everyone that has joined us here today and bared with us for that malfunction a little bit earlier. Please do send in all your pictures of Friday, and if you're able to donate to us, then anything you're able to give is really, really helpful to allow us to look after animals like Friday. If you're not able to donate, just liking and sharing our page is really, really helpful as well. Next week we've got another Facebook Live, so do stay tuned for that on our Facebook page. But thank you very much everyone, and make sure you're staying nice and safe, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.